Good morning, good morning. Hey, Kevin. Hey, Timo, how are you? Thanks, Timo, for posting the margin requirements. Yeah, so we're $237 to trade a micro at about 2,400 to trade a mini. It's not, it's better than 20 grand, right? Oh, boy. How's everyone doing this morning? We're getting back to some semblance of normality. Let's see if that were. If, now, yeah, I might have jinxed it. Okay, sorry. If things go just buck wild, then I've jinxed it. Hey, info risk trader. So as I said earlier in the Globex um, session, I said, well, we're noticing that the range this morning is smaller, right? It's a smaller range. And there's some interesting things to watch out for. One is that we have a poor low. So there's the areas where the selling has shut off both yesterday and this morning, right? Hey, Chris. Good to see you. Welcome, everyone. Sorry, I got a lot on my mind. Old traders have um, vaults of information that sometimes go untapped until you see things again. And you're like, oh, yeah, I remember this from 1997 when this happened in this one stock, right? The business never changes, right? It's not like one day, we're selling auto parts, and the next day we're running a massage parlor, and then the next day after that you know, we're selling, what is that stuff you guys eat? Kale, right? It's always the same business, right? It's always the same business, which is helpful, which is helpful, right? Because nothing ever changes, right? It just gets more efficient. Yeah, no, I was trying to elicit a response, Ed. I don't know how people can eat that stuff. But anyway, before I get attacked by the kale growers around the world, 54.65, right? 54.65. We cannot seem to want to get above it and stay above it. And earlier in I was telling us, we did a look above and fail of 54.65, one zone to another. And then the overnight high is 63 and three quarters. So if you're short and this thing can't get above 65, something to keep in mind for the larger traders, right? Now, here's the other thing. The range today is a heck of a lot smaller than most of the overnight ranges, right? It's a lot smaller. So that tells me that the market's kind of waiting for some information, right? You also look at it's an inside overnight, right? So until we take out yesterday's high or yesterday's low, it's business as usual. Hey Terzi, how you doing? Right? Bada bing, bada boom. Friday, the market is closed. So we have less time to do work if you're a larger trader this week than you would on normal weeks. You only have 4 working days, right? So let's see. Now, in normal market conditions, that is, if the president, maybe if he just like has an ice cream cone and goes to sleep, that would be a good thing. Then what we could do, and I mean that in the most polite way, right? The other guy would have an ice cream cone and have a nap. If we could just kind of go back and forth, that would be helpful. And establish some sort of normal, right, consolidation, which means we're taking this cheap stuff and we're selling it up here for profit, right? Remember I told you guys last week that we reset the cost basis. What does that mean? That the large players are now long underneath 53.42, right? That's what that red line is. So the smart money is long under there. The dumb money is short under there. Let's see what the order flow brings in, right? Now we've got economic news, not today, but tomorrow and Friday. No, sorry, tomorrow and Thursday, right? So that is something we'll look for a correction lower. Do I think the low is in? A lot of people have asked me, do I think the low is in? I would be insanely egotistical to even try and answer that. I could say I hope it's in, but I can't tell you for sure, right? Because the way we came off that low was just a little too beautiful for my liking. You notice that? You guys see that off of that low? I want to show you something. Okay? I want to show you something because I'm going to drag this over. If you look at that chart, and this is like a penny stock chart that I ran years ago, right? Do you see how you just kind of march it up, tick, 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 and then all of a sudden, and then you liquidate into it, right? I don't know. Being paranoid sometimes works, right? 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 A little bit of paranoia is always good in this business, right? So that's what I'm kind of wondering. What? What's with everybody wanting to predict? Because, Josh, see, in the 70s and the 80s, you'd have guys who wore big funny hats and would try and tell the future. Right? Now they try and do that in finance. Right? Like they'd say, the Mets are going to win the World Series, or, the Canucks are going to win the Stanley Cup. It's the same thing, right? Humans always like to predict so they can go, see, I told you. Wizards, right? Yeah, the guys with the funny hats on their heads, right? People love that, right? Maybe it's because you had the little kid magician with the glasses that all you guys watched, right? It's crazy. It's crazy. So that's what I'm kind of worrying about. I'm a worry wart after what happened last week. I mean, look at this range, right? It can't just go back to normal in 4 days. Can it? That's it. Harry Potter. There's a store down the street that sells those like wands that those kids use in that movie. And I was walking by there and I'm like, why are you guys selling sticks? And they told me it's from a film. I didn't even know. Right? So anyway, Maybe it goes back to normal. Maybe this whole thing, right? Like Lewis Winthorpe III said when he woke up in Trading Places, maybe it was all just a dream. I don't know. I'm just messing with you guys, right? Just seeing if you're awake. All right. So how do we trade this? Inside day, right? We're going to open inside yesterday's range and value, right? So it's going to be choppy, right? So we're going to find a nice balance zone and just work it back and forth, right? Now, here's something of note, okay? We have a double bottom in the overnight low. That means that shorts are trapped and they are bid to cover at 54.13. It's been tested, but check this out. The amount of time between the two tests is quite a bit of time, right? So even after all that time, the buyers were still there, right? So remember, poor low means buyers are competing, which means don't short it, right? Poor high means sellers are competing, which means don't buy it, right? And since I've been flapping my gums, look at the response off of that poor low. Right? Now, once we get over 54.43 and a quarter, where that dotted line is, you see we had distribution up here, right? We used the shorts trapped under 43 to distribute. And it was working pretty decently for hours. And then we sold off and corrected inventory. Now, here's the thing. Can we get back up there? Because the overnight point of control on this liquidation did not move down. Aha. There's a poor low. Aha. Right? Clues. Right? You know, like that board game Clue that they used to have in the 80s? It was the butler in the pantry with the candlestick. Right? Hey, aloha. What's up? Right? So poor low. Clue number one. Right? POC didn't move down. Clue number two. Not enough time to move the POC down. It's not a big POC. It's only 1900 contracts. Could have easily printed that down here. Right? That's number two. So that's Colonel Mustard in the kitchen. Right? Let's see what the open brings. If the open, if we get, now here's, I'm going to put on my, what do you call it, a wizard? Right? I'm going to put on my wizard hat and say if we get above 54.45 and stay there, be careful on the short side. Oh, hang on a second. Thanks, Michael. That should fix it in about 2 seconds. Better? If I forget to do that, remind me. Okay? So, let's see if we can catch some bids here. Where are the bids? Where are the bids? Fascinating. Do you notice that sometimes you'll short and the market will come right down to the level where you're short and bounce off of it? Anybody ever notice that? It's really weird. But it's really because you're shorting in the wrong place, right? Something to consider. What's up, Patachi? How you doing? I'm showing yesterday's point of control as 64 and a half. But you might be thinking time point of control. And you are. It's just interesting, I find. So let's go. Oh, hang on. Let's go to the balance level. Sorry. I'm all over the place this morning. I got a lot on my mind. Folks, in the coaching class today at 11 p.m., we are going to go in depth of the business of the trade and using that to navigate when we are in a trade. So it's going to be a lot of trade management at 11, okay? Once again, everything we do has to be put into practical use. So we're going to have a price action lab today at 11. So now here's the thing. The last couple of days, network just DM me. It's a part of my mentoring class. Hey, teen, what's going on? So I've just been hacking around today, trading micros. Last week I did not trade much at all. I took very few trades. One day I didn't trade much. I didn't take any trades. Um, you know, um, sorry. At what point do you consider putting the standard deviations on the screen? You know, Travis, I kind of put them on there to keep people happy, right? Usually what I'll do is I'll go and mark VWAP, right? I'll go and see, oh, VWAP's over here, and then I'll just take a little one of these line markers and go put VWAP here. And then what I do is I go and I get rid of this VWAP study so the chart's nice and clean, right? But people like seeing it, and it kind of gives them like a sense of comfort. That's why I leave it on the screen, right? I notice the more stuff that you take off the screen, they work to get out of trades at. So if you're long VWAP and it goes up to the first standard deviation, there's probably going to be some sellers because Mike and the 0 and 1 Mafia will have programmed their algos to sell there. It's not a place to initiate a trade at. I like initiating trades at a static or fixed level. Exactly, Josh, right? And I like using VWAP and the standard deviance, right, or deviations, right? Sounds like a rock band, right? VWAP and the standard deviance, right? I like to use them to get out of a trade. See, and this is that sideways motion that we've got right now. What are we going to do here? Is this just distribution and then do we sell off at the open? Let's see. Let's see. You know, this market looks like it's changed again on us. Where's the open sticker? There it is. Right. Let's see where we open up. Oh, I've got two of them. Yeah, I don't. What I like to do is I like to get out of trades at VWAP. When I'm trading, I'll be completely honest with this. I've learned that the lazier I am, right, in what I look at, the better my trading is. The more stuff I start looking at, the worse my trading is. Especially like, that didn't happen last week, but when you start to get into the flow of a market, right? If you can analyze things in a simple manner, your execution will be much more fluid, right? You know, it's like those when you hear those kids practicing the violin, it's like right? Then you hear somebody playing, who's like a virtuoso, right? Where it just seems effortless, right? It's the same in trading. If you ever sat next to like really, really good traders, I'm talking like, a 30, 40, $50 million a month trader, and you've seen them trade, and it's like watching somebody conduct an orchestra, right? Now that's just me. Like we have a guy who's in our room. He hasn't been around much lately, but he's literally a rocket scientist. And he sits in front of 13 screens, right? But he's Mensa level genius, and he can analyze all sorts of information simultaneously, right? I don't have the ability to do that, right? I need to keep it so simple. Where do I put my buy? What is the reason for the trade? Where do I put my stop? That's when the reason for the trade goes bye-bye. I go bye-bye too because I don't want my money to go bye-bye, right? Really simple, right? And what's the reason to stay in the trade, right? So if I'm long, say I'm long off of this, look below and fail of 37, right? And I'm long, and say I'm long 10 contracts and I sell 5 at the middle of the range. And I put some sell orders out before 45. Now, if the market doesn't go and take those sell orders, that means there's not enough buying to warrant increasing price, which means I need to get rid of my inventory at prices here. Otherwise, if it does this, I'm going to be stuck with inventory that's badly priced, right? You need to repeat the same thing over and over and over. If you do not trade much, we do not have as much repetition. But the thing is, Michael, here's the trick. The trick is waiting for that trade where the business actually works, right? And actually seeing, sometimes you'll get into the trade and there'll be a seller and you can't get out of the trade at a higher price, right? See, looking at order flow, looking at balance, Gosh is looking at order flow. But what they've done is they've taken order flow and they've made it a marketing term. If any of you guys were around in the 80s, they did the same thing with the word turbo, right? Cars started getting turbochargers in the 80s. So it was a hot thing. It was a big marketing thing. They had turbo sunglasses, turbo cologne, turbo this, turbo that. Everything was turbo, right? It was a marketing term. Just like order flow trading is a marketing term. Everyone is an order flow trader, whether they want to admit it or not, right? Because that's what the market is, right? I know, I got some turbo cologne for Christmas. It actually smelled like gasoline, right? I had a Saab 99 turbo, a 1978 Saab 99 turbo, right? I remember the ignition was between the seats. Nobody could ever steal it on me. Now with even more boost. Exactly. If you get caught in this chop, you're just overeager, Lonigan. Right? Too early, a little overeager. Don't worry about it. I would allow the market when it's choppy before the open. It's telling you there's a lot of not a lot of people coming in just yet, right? We've been up, what, 3, 4 days in a row. People don't quite believe that this rally's got legs to it. A lot of people don't believe the low is in, so that's making people a little nervous, right? Yeah, Lonigan, I trade early too, all the time, right? Because I was trained to scoop up the buyers before everybody else did. So sometimes I jump the gun and I go too early, and then I stop myself out and go, "Oh, I'm early." That's okay, right? Exactly. We were riding the roller coaster. Now we're just in line for the next ride, right? Exactly. See, you're getting good with the analogies there, Travis. You've been in the room for a while now, right? All right. So look at that. A little bit of buying in the pre-open. A little bit of buying. I want to see it. I want to see if we can stay above 43 and a half. Like we took a little look above and came back in. So there are sellers here for now. Let's see when the market opens. That poor low in Globex. Now, if LC, I don't know if he's around, but the older guys, they'll be like, they don't believe that poor low is going to hold. But since we have people who are short down there, let's milk this for as much as we can, right? And take this inventory and sell it higher, right? Let's see how much we can get for it. So I'm looking for an open above or below 43.5. Hey, Jen, ça va? I don't use a delta at all. It's information that you don't need. It's hard for older market profile people because the ranges are so big, right? It's very hard, right? You have to be very tuned in to see where the sellers and the buyers are when you're like 50 points between stops or 30 points between stops. That's why I cut the market. Think of the market profile like a pizza, and these 1 minute charts, we're cutting that pizza into slices because you can't eat an entire pizza, right? You got to cut it up so you can digest it. Hey, Jam, what's up? So open above or below. How do I correct the early trading? I let myself trade early with a micro or two. And then once I realize it, I have a hard time stopping it, right? I have a hard time stopping it. So sometimes you just got to take the $15 hit, right? And then know, oh crap, I'm early, right? Sometimes you're not even aware of these behaviors. But if you have methods to catch yourself when you've got bad behavior, right? There you go. What is overnight inventory? Anybody know? Let's see if we can hold the purple zone. As we get down to this 45, 43 level, right? Remember, if we stay above it, we can keep distributing, right? If we get under 43, when the market opens, I want to see where the bid is. I'm just scalp long 50 and I'm selling the 52s. 3 micros and I'm flat. Now that was me testing my reflexes to see if I'm on the ball. Once again, we're getting bids. We had bids at 44. The shorts are trapped under 46 for the time being, at this time. Okay? The shorts are trapped under 46 because that's where the bids are, and we're lifting off of the 46s. Right? How could we be 100% long, John? Jam, might want to 67. Thanks, LC. So overnight inventory is 67% long, right? And it is in no hurry to correct right now, which means we've got shorts trapped underneath the A low. Next set of stops, 61. Almost close. Now we're going to backfill. Oh, it updated on the open? I don't know how that software works. You know, you guys and your fancy toys. So I just have to ask. If you're short under 61, put some bids under 56. Watch the offer. Right? If you're short under 61, bid the market at 56, 55, because you want to be in line when the market comes down, right? You want to get hit, right? No sense trying to chase something. As soon as you're short, you're a buyer. There are those 55 bids getting hit. Nice. Next, go put some bids under 53, right? 53, 52 and 3/4, right? And if there's a big response somewhere, just hit the buy ask and close the trade. But there you go. Beautiful short. That is a fail to look above 61. Right? Back to 45. That was a nice short. Now, we're going to backfill to the upside. Let's see where the sellers are. If the sellers are there, right? Look below and fail of 45. Let's see where they sell into it. 49, not yet. Not yet. Jesus. Let's see if we get to the middle. 53. That's a good 5 minutes, right, Mike? If you want to swing trade, the first skill set in swing trading is learning how to get out of a bad trade quickly. So the skill set that you should develop in swing trading is understanding the reason for the trade. The other thing in swing trading is your risk has to be, when you've got ranges that are 500 points, right? Those are big waves. Might not be the best environment to actually swing in, but it's a good environment to learn and make observations. Right? So, the biggest skill set in swing trading is risk management. Because what happens is a lot of swing traders get into a trade and then all of a sudden, oh, it's an investment now. That's not good. Right? Now, guys, I have to tell you, right? Here's a little ad. right? For anyone who's looking to level up their trading, swing trading, scalping, whatever you want to do, futures, we have everything in the Microefutures room. We've got that 7-day free trial, no strings attached, right? And, you know, with respect to winning trades, a lot of our members are now getting payouts, right? From Take Profit and Apex, right? All the info on how to join the rooms is in the description. Don't miss out. Come join us. Come hang out. We'll teach you something. I promise. Now we're in a bit of a back to our regularly scheduled programming. Okay, we're back. What's going on? Right, we've got that chop. Do I show my trades live? I don't because I trade other people's money and their names are on the accounts. Send me a DM. I don't take care of the billing, but Steve's here. He'll see that. Right. I just trade a couple of accounts. And last week I did barely any trades in them at all. I'm not a CFA. On X or on Discord, Terzi? Now we've got sellers up here at 60. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to pass a CFA. That's just too much math for me. I'm a I'm an old eye gouger, okay? I poke people in the eye and I hit the bid. Right? People are like, what's my professional designation? Is RPH, Ruthless Paper Hanger. That's my professional designation. Getting over 61, watch out if we take that overnight high. They sold into it, that's good. If we accept over yesterday, the overnight high and over that point of control, be careful because the next stop is 74 and a half. So just watch yourself, use the levels, don't fight it on the short side. Let the front end of the move do its thing, right? Next level, 69 and a quarter. Now it's going to backfill a little. It's looking for a buyer, looking for a buyer. As soon as it finds a size buyer, it'll move up away from the buyer. There you go. See? It's a little choppy here, so be careful. You can, Mike. You can trade the non-edge levels, but just be fast and realize that every once in a while you're going to get smacked in the nose. And if you're okay with that, it's okay to do so. All depends on your level of speed. Now, you're in the business, you should be quick, and your algo should be really quick. Yes. You see, when you work in the industry, Michael, most of the time on the trade desk, when it's not busy, you're joking, you're laughing, you're playing practical jokes on each other. And then when big orders come in, you switch on. It's just something you get used to. Once again, Mike, too much information. The general public did not need to know that. Over 69 and a quarter targets 73 and a quarter if we can stick it. But right now we got sellers, which is good. That's normal. Right? That's normal. Right? This is a normal backfill. Right? The backfill is going to find where the buyers are, and then the offer is going to move away from the bid to make the buyers chase and pay more. Now these are big candles, ladies and gentlemen. 64 to 70, 71. That's a big candle. So if you are wrong, don't feel bad about saying you're wrong quick. The faster you admit you're wrong, the less money you're going to lose. Okay? If we take out that A high, it's going to run some stops. So be careful if you're on the short side. This is that creepy price action, and this is how they trap shorts all the time. And it's not intentional. It's just done because this thing, see, there's that stop run, right? And we told you not to short it. Took that M high, ran the stops, right? Look how big that candle is. 65 up to 75, right? Now they're going to sell into it, right? So it's a little bit, it's tradable. Do I trade off intermarket relationships? Like inversely correlating to Dixie? Jesus Christ, no. That sounds, I'm tired just repeating that question. I need a nap now. No, no, uh, no, Nair. I don't inversely correlate anything. Um, and honestly, before I started retail trading, I didn't even know what the hell correlating was. But you guys have all sorts of really fancy sayings, right? I just need to find where the buyers are, where the sellers are, and see if I can do a little business, right? I'm a street trader, right? I'm not, what did Kramer say in Seinfeld? I'm not a Juilliard trained trader, right? I'm very much, you know, street. Sorry, and I didn't make fun of the question. I don't even know how to do that. Where would I even begin? Where do you put your, like how do you manage that trade, right? Right? That's just, I bet you if I wore a suit and went on CNBC, could I borrow that? No, I know some people do it. I shouldn't make fun, but I'm too dumb to do all that, right? I'm just, that's just too much for me, right? I just want to quietly make some money, and enjoy life, right? It's, I like a simple life, right? I know that there are bids under 65. I know the sellers at 71. How is it possible to get into trades using limit orders? Be quick. And if you're not quick enough, hit the bid or take the offer. And if you're not comfortable with that, sit out and wait until it kind of smooths out. Right? It's difficult clipping in and out. Notice I take one trade and then I talk for half an hour. and then maybe I'll take another trade, right? Right. And the funny thing is, I don't consider that I trade a style. I trade the business, right? Because I grew up in the business, right? But retail traders all have different styles, right? Market orders are not my thing. I don't like to get taken advantage of, right? And sometimes if it's too choppy, RC, I will just sit out. Like if I like say I didn't sleep well, right? And I'm tired and I take a couple of trades with the micro and I get stopped out and I'm slow, right? I'm not moving that quick. Then I'll just kind of wait until my brain warms up and matches the speed of the market. If my brain cannot match the speed of the market, then I don't trade. The worst thing on these DOMs is that reverse button. That button should be illegal. Where it market orders you out and market orders you in the opposite direction. They should, whoever invented that button should be strung up. See, oh, there's an aggressive seller at 72. Right? That's what I pay attention to. Where's the sellers and where's the buying? That's all institutions care about, right? If you're working a size order, you need to know where you can get rid of your order for a client, or if you're trying to buy an order, you know where you can go and get some without driving the price up. Yeah, the reverse button is wired directly to your broker's Bentley dealership. Backfilling. Can I explain backfilling? Right? Backfilling is when you take something up and then you go back and fill in that demand with supply, Travis. Backfilling is how you sell size, right? My stop losses are dynamic. So if I was long when the candle dipped under and I was trying to buy 63, 64, I'd put my stop under that candle, sell it 40 at 69, sell at 73. Same thing on swing trading. Now there's a business reason why you do that, because nobody needs to sell under 65. So I'm going long above it, right? And I'm putting my stop underneath 63. Because if the market breaks 63, the business reason for my trade is gone. Once the business reason for your trade is gone, you and your capital have to be gone. And if anybody tells you, if you're talking to someone about trading and they're trying to charge you money to teach you how to trade, ask them, explain to me the business reason why I should be taking this trade. If they can't explain it, they're full of poop. And they should be able to explain it so a golden retriever understands it. Right? There's got to be a business reason to do business. Otherwise, you're just, throwing darts at a board with a blindfold on. Right? And if someone can't explain to you in a simple manner why that business exists and why and where the risk is, right? What do you think, Corey? Like, what did I just say? Right? What is the business reason for the trade? If they can't explain it, if they explain it with something else, ask them why is there support there? Ask them why resistance is there. Can they explain what support and resistance is in a mechanical nature? You know what I mean? Exactly, Kevin. Contractors use front end loaders to backfill. There you go. Well, then, Corey, as a discerning business person, what do you infer from that response? Looking for 79 and a half. I love trading non-RTH M trades. I love Globex. Globex is nice and slow and you can relax. The agenda is very clear, right? I love trading Globex. Sometimes it's ultra slow and nothing's going on, which is, but in these markets, you can get some pretty good trades in Globex. Yeah, there is. But, always use your BS detector. Don't be afraid to use your BS detector in this business. Okay? If I say anything, make me explain it. If I can't explain it, then I'm BSing, right? It's okay if you haven't taken a trade yet, right? It hasn't been an easy trading environment. This Globex session, the preceding Globex session, wasn't too bad. Wasn't too bad, right? Hopefully we get more of those. Let's see if we can move this point of control from here, from 50 up here. Now, can we stay above 50? Yeah. Can we stay above 54.65? Remember we were talking about it earlier? Next stop is, what is this? 55.04. And that involves taking that high of the previous day. Let's see. I don't know. Do we have the gas to do it? Is the order flow there? Right? I'm seeing lots of trap shorts underneath the overnight low and underneath the A low of the opening. Now there are people who are professional gamblers, but I have no idea about their world, right? Like Ray used to play poker, right? And all that stuff, but I don't know how the game works. I don't know anything. All I know is he had good risk management, right? Ray, when he started trading, that was one thing he had that most regular traders don't have is risk management. So he knew not to blow all his money. That was what he got from being a poker player, right? Other than that, I can't draw parallels because I've never gambled, right? Uh, I've spent a lot of time in Vegas casinos watching my clients lose ridiculous sums of money and then had to sell stock the next day to pay their debts. But I don't know anything about it. Other than they give out some pretty nice cigars in some of those casinos. So we got a seller at 78. I still remember one of my clients lost 700 grand in the MGM Grand. And I thought it was going to be one of those scenes from Casino where they take us into a back room and break all our fingers. See if we can get over 78. Hey, ACS, what's going on? That seller, persistent seller at 78. Okay, that can really help you if you're looking to go long, and you see a persistent seller. Right, you might not want to be going long at the top. And we're still in A period. Mike, you probably are sleeping. You might be sleepwalking. Oh, thank you, Jaden. Really appreciate that. Thank you. The big candles, folks. The big candles. Point of control moved up. Good distribution. Now we're going to go back down. Look for bids at 54.64. Right, just here. Because that's where the shorts are trapped underneath the overnight high. See, there's a seller again. See how the sellers step in? Top of the candle. These are big candles. Nice, Lear. Nice. Way to take it down. Right? So when you see that aggressive seller and you're short, that's a beautiful thing. Right? But make sure that you buy and cover, okay? Don't wait for an invitation to cover. And when you're long, don't wait for an invitation to sell. Take those points. Take those points. And we got down to 66. So we got down right here and stopped selling. Why? Because the shorts are trapped here. They're all sitting there waiting with their buy orders. They saw the market come down, they jumped the line and bought the 66s. Let's see if they do it again. It's okay, Mike. You might be over trading. You might need a break. You know? And truth be told, brother, you haven't been sleeping much. You know? You might benefit from a good night's sleep. You're in the room all the time, and that's a great thing, but, you know, you could use a holiday. Watch that B low, see if we can get down to the overnight high. Come on. See? See how it comes down and it stops, right? It comes down and it stops and it reverses, right? How long am I in a trade? In this market, VS Squad, I'm in a trade like 30 to 90 seconds because it's a fast market. Usually for me, usually no longer than 3 to 5 minutes. Hey, big pun. Well, I can't say anything about that. I know nothing about it. It's very common in Wall Street, but I think I'm too old for that stuff. There you go, HN. Right. Well, I'm glad it's working for you, brother. Big Pun. I haven't seen that in a while. I'm gonna have to listen to some of his music now. Yeah, let's get away from the pharmaceutical speak in the chat. Get back to the trades, right? It's a tough market to trade. You guys, if you noticed last week, we had a one day with a 500-point range. That's not normal, right? That's like seeing a 30-foot chihuahua. That, things that make you go, hmm. Remember that song from the 80s? Right? We'll see. We'll see what happens this week. Hopefully things start becoming a bit more normal, right? Maybe he's done with the Dennis the Menace stuff. I think it was CNC Music Factory. Remember that song? Things that make you go, hmm? So there's a seller at 73 quarter, right? Let's see if we can, right, get past 73 quarter, 73 half. These candles are big. It's hard to get the timing on the entry of these candles, S-Pill. The exit's not so bad because the thing, if it goes in your direction, you just like, get me out, thank you, right? If you're long 72, right? But the thing is, the entry, like, don't feel bad if you're having trouble getting good entries and getting stopped out because these are, big candles, right? These are big candles. This is big wave surfing, right? This is, you know, this is like surfing Sunset or Pipeline, right? And get out quick, right? Get out quick. Admit you're wrong quick, right? A little humility is the best risk management, right? Humility is the best risk management. We've got some rotation. I'm trying to nail down a rotation that's tradable and not really seeing one just yet. Every time I think I have one, we break out of it. Well, the big bars are created by large orders coming into an order book that does not have a lot of orders in it, so which is called a thin order book, right? The other thing about these markets, ladies and gentlemen, you guys talk about algos, right? These algos can sense order flow so quick that when a big order enters the book, they will pull all the bids. Like say a big sell order comes in, all of the bids will just magically vanish and the market will sell down 10, 15 points. Because everybody pulls it's all scared fast money in this market, right? It's all fast money. They don't want to take risk. They're not going to stand in there and buy 5,000 contracts in a 1 minute candle. So they'll just jump out of the way so quick, right? That's exactly what happens during news candles, right? Yeah, nobody in the business explains it. It's because nobody wants to, like, if you drop a news bomb, right? I don't want to sit there, Nair, and try and catch it, right? I don't want to sit there and try and catch it. I'm going to get the heck out of the way. Now, in the old days, a broker would have to call the trader would have to cancel the order. So there was a time delay between when the client wanted to cancel the order and the order actually got canceled. Now it happens in milliseconds. which creates these huge candles. And news candles are even worse because all the smart money is like, no, I'm not touching that. Right? And you get these crazy massive candles and everybody just gets eaten for lunch because we've taken it's like we've taken the shock absorbers out of the car. So now when we hit a pothole, the car just bounces like 3 feet in the air and then slams back down on the ground. In the old days, when we used to ride horses to work, right, we'd have something called size on both ends of the book. So if you went in and you dropped a big order, it would cushion it, right? Pock moved up again. Thanks, Josh. And the market makers used to apply more capital to cushion the market because they had large customers that would take stuff off of them and reduce their risk. But now market makers, you think of the range of a market like a big piece of bread, and the market makers only have 1 spoon of peanut butter. They got to spread their capital over a much larger range. See ya, Corey. Have a good one. Stay out of trouble. So I think we have a rotation here. I think. Let's see. I'm trying to find the bottom of it, maybe here. We are in distribution. That much I can tell you, right? We're in distribution because we're taking the product from under 54.45, under 54.37, and we're selling it up here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See, hillbilly math. Very simple. 8 times profit zone, and we're just kind of lurking in the middle of it. Smart money has what they pay analysts, right? So if you're a portfolio manager, right, you'll have a pod and they make business decisions by committee. So the analysts will look at their models and say, at this price, you buy this. At this price, you sell this, right? And the portfolio manager pays these analysts a lot of money to tell them where to get in and out. And that might be based on macro stuff or earnings stuff with companies and things like that. Stuff I'm not privy to because I've never worked in a money management fund, right? I've done some overflow trading for some small ones, but I've never, been allowed inside those places. So that much I can't tell you. Yeah, I don't know yet. I don't know. Maybe I need to zoom out. Oh, hang on. Let's see. Here? 69 to 77? Let's see. Yeah, I actually really have never read a finance textbook. I was too busy partying in university. So, let's see if we got a seller up here again. Because maybe we do a look above and fail, and you could short that. See? That's a look above and fail of 77.25, and you'd be looking for the middle at 73. And so if you had just come in and sat down trading, right? You'd go, oh, okay, maybe this is my new balance zone, right? Everybody see that? No, it's the zone, Rowan. So you do the look below and fail when it does this. From one color up into the other. Right? That's where you'll get the maximum benefit. Right? If you're doing look below and fails of every level, right? It's not an A plus setup. It's when the market goes up, comes down, and then comes back up, it means the sell orders under this price are done. Boom, boom, boom. So there's nothing for sale under that level. You go long, put your stop underneath that level, and sell into the strength created by a lack of supply. And you are going to get creamed when you're doing this at first. I hate to say it, but that's, learning how to trade is a contact sport. It's like learning how to be a boxer. You cannot be a boxer and not get punched in the face. Why don't I update my balance zones throughout the session? Well, because once I know where the cost basis of everything is, Azu, there's no need to. Right? It's not like, remember, Zazu, we're not trading something different. Right? Like this morning we were trading ES contracts. Right? Right? So at 3 a.m. in the morning, when I did the balance zones, New York time, we were selling ES contracts. 6 hours later, 8 hours later, it's not like we're running a massage parlor. You get it? It's the same business. So it's the same inventory. Does that make sense? I want to see the markup of that inventory. So if I paid, right? So if I pay $5 for something, double that is 10, double that again is 20, double that again is 40, right? And then when I put it on sale, I know where it's going to come down to. Make sense? The business doesn't change. The fact that we bring in more customers is great, right? They're buying it. How long do traders usually need you have trained? Depends, Michael. It really depends on the human being. I've had people learn how to trade and go off on their own within months. Then I've had people who learn how to trade and 3 years later if they can't control themselves or they're having problems with something, it all depends. It also depends how stubborn you are. The more stubborn you are when you're working with me, the longer it's going to take you to absorb the information. Right? Thanks, Nair. I appreciate that. Do you look for the first blue balance zone at the first open of the week? You can. You can. Depends on crypto if you're trading. Let's see if we hold that. Now if we do a look below and fail of say 68, you should rotate back up to 73, right? See, look at that. It's beautiful. I'll mark the right. So if we stay above 68 and a quarter, target is 73 quarter. Boom, there you go. Over 73 quarter, we'll be selling them at 76. See how beautiful it is? You just work both sides of this edge, right? They stuff the high of day, right? Yeah, I think a breakout is a bit much to ask right now, Aubrey, right? We've had one, two, three, four sessions up in a row. I don't know about that overnight low, Aubrey, right? I don't know. We'll see. I'd like to see, I'd really like to see what's lurking under 54.13. But that's just me, right? Trade what you see, right? I'm not short biased, but I do not trade in Q. And and Zeb, I don't correlate at all. I didn't even know what correlation was until I started retail trading. I don't know how to correlate. I don't do it. Um, some people do it, and that's great, but it's not something I do. I wouldn't know where to even start. Here's what I think about correlation. If you're a new trader, like, are you consistently profitable? Then you can go and do things like correlate. But if you're not making money, why don't you do simple things to make money and then branch out? Right? There's no point correlating markets if you're not consistently profitable. It's not going to help you make any more money. Get good at one thing, right? Learn, here it is. When you're trading a market, right? When you're trading a market, watch the price action, right? Watch the traffic on the street that you're trying to cross. If you're trying to cross a street, don't look 3 streets over to see what the traffic is. You're going to get hit by a truck, right? That's just common sense, right? Now, I'm not putting down people who correlate. Oh, there's a big size order, right? Somebody got frisky, right? That's why we use stops. I would not trade this now. If it gets frisky like this, just get the hell out of the way, right? And again, I'm not putting down people who correlate. I just don't know how to do it. Look below and fail of 61. There's going to be some sellers at 66, and there they are. Hello. Right? For me, I need to look at the smallest amount of information that I can so I can trade like effortlessly or in a flow state. Right? Under 61, you're looking for 57. Watch 61. There should be a seller. There they are. If you're short, that's beautiful. Right? You could stay short until 53, 54. Put some 54 bids in and see if you get hit. Right? If you're short 10 at 60, 61, put in some 54 bids in. Buy one back, buy two back. Right? Look for the bid. There you go. The seller continues. You can stay short the other 8 contracts. Right? Put in a bid, put in a bid, put in a bid. Right? Buy them on the way down, so make sure you get your supply. Right? Where is VWAP now? We're right at VWAP. Right to 45 and a quarter, to the tick. See the zones work. How can you see sellers so quick clearly? Just look at the top of the candle. The sellers will initiate at the top of the candle. How do I know? Because I used to be the seller. Takes one to know one. Right? If you're still short, like Aubrey, under 45, 41, looking for 37 and a quarter. 37 and a quarter, break that, looking for 33 quarter. Remember, we were just talking about the overnight low, and now we're not that far away from it. What is a falling knife? It's a liquidation. Right? It's just a liquidation. I don't know what a falling knife is. Right? It's a liquidation. Right? It's fast money. We took out the 68. We took out 61. We took out all these little swing lows here on a short time frame, and everyone just dumped. Go lose a buck, Chris. Nice move down. Right? 53 to the tick, back up to 45. Well, I don't think you should try and catch a liquidation either, Michael. Not unless you got lots of money. Because if you're trying to catch the liquidation at VWAP, you took 20 points of pain. Right? Don't worry about it. There'll be some nice trading after this. Right? If we can get back above and stay over 45, you'll be looking at 52 where the VWAP is. Right? Oh, it's news? Naturally, right? So there you have it. Who was watching that? Nair, right? There's that news bomb, right? Everybody just get out of the way, get out of the way, pull your orders, pull your orders, pull your orders. On a trade desk, it's called bid off, right? Pull all your buy orders, right? And a look below and fail of 45. We're back over VWAP, targeting 57, and back over 57, target 61. It's a nice two-sided market, right? And if you were short under 60, you should have covered when they ran out of supply. Nice trade, Raj. Nice trade. Right, chopping it back. 61 and a quarter. The zones are working, eh, folks? Zones are working. So, Zazu, why would you change them if they're working? Look, right? They're working to the tick. Just leave them be. Right? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Nice and simple. The less work you have to do, the better, my friend. Right? That's where my laziness factor really helps me in this business. Right? The less work I need to do, the more I can concentrate on trading. Right? If I have to start doing more work, my trades are going to suffer. Because I am unfortunately a person who needs to focus. Right? I cannot do anything, as they say in Canada, to be rude, half-assed. Right? I've got to be totally dialed in and focused. And honestly, when you had clients, you couldn't afford to be unfocused because unfocused means fired, right? All you have to do is screw up one trade and your client will fire you. They don't give you a lot of chances in the business. Oh. And now it's just going to chop around back and forth. Let's see if it holds 45, folks. Let's see if it holds 45. So, we were talking about those news candles and then you just saw one. So, it's not bad. Good learning day. Don't worry if you're not making a lot of money, new traders. You will. Just be just be smart, right? Be smart and learn the business. It'll pay off. I thought it was definitely a Canadian thing, Dave. I didn't know if it was global or not. I just thought it was a Saskatchewan thing, right? I'm so curious about what's lurking under 14. But it might take some time to get there. Maybe we get another news bomb. Where and when did you learn how to trade? I learned how to trade in the early 90s in Vancouver, British Columbia, which was the penny stock and scam capital of the world. And I was taught to trade, I was taught how to sell stock and manipulate markets by some of the most highly advanced, highly functioning sociopaths that have ever walked this earth. Oh, Manitoba, cool. Well, there used to be a lot of good traders in Manitoba, the grain exchange in Winnipeg. I grew up in Regina, Dave. Definitely know my way around a bottle of Pilsner. But I learned how to trade in Vancouver. No, I only started trading futures in 2012 after I had a heart attack. And I had to find something less stressful. Oh, you're from Saskatoon. Bloody Hilltops fan. Yeah. uh, yeah, I grew up in Regina. We're back at VWAP now. Let's just trade the rotations for the rest of the day, folks. Right? So now what we're going to do is, after that liquidation, we've got all these people who are trapped long over 45.65. They're dumping into this, and it's going to wash them out here. Right? Yeah, I grew up in Regina, and then I moved to Vancouver in 1990. Aaron, I use a very simple strategy. It's based on supply and demand. And if you're just joining us, there's a ton of videos on the YouTube, right? Also, we have a futures room. We're having a 7-day free trial, right? Come and join us. Spend some time. We'll chat. And we promise that you'll learn information that you can use. Why do I call my mentors sociopaths? Because they would bankrupt brokerage firms for fun. What made them that way? They were really intelligent. And they were like just really evil. I'll talk about that sometime later, Zizu. Yeah. you know, penny stock clientele, it's kind of like looking after alligators. You never know when they're going to turn around and bite you. I learned the business the hard way. Anyway, folks, have a wonderful, wonderful day. Be smart out there. And we will see you tomorrow. I do a session at 7:30 in the morning UK time. Now, for people in North America, that's 2:30 in the morning New York time, about 11:30 at night for folks on the West Coast. But they're all put on YouTube, so they're all there. Thanks, everyone. Stay out of trouble. And as always, do not take candy from strange market makers. Thanks, everyone. Bye for now.